Let's talk about the Rat Pack. Not the sanitized, glamorous version they sell you. Not just tuxedos, cocktails, and Vegas lights, but the truth about who they were and what they represented in America. Because they were cool, yeah, but they were also a mirror. They showed us exactly how racism and friendship, loyalty and betrayal could all live in the same room. And who were they? Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, Sammy Davis Jr., Peter Lawford, Joey Bishop. They weren't just a band or a comedy team. They were a brand. They defined American cool in the late 50s and early 60s. They made Las Vegas the center of the universe. They sold out shows, made movies, recorded albums. They created that swinging bachelor fantasy, the one that Hollywood still tries to create. Ocean's 11, that was them. But beneath all that charm was a country ripping itself apart over race. And in the middle of it, Sammy Davis Jr. Sammy was the only black member of the Rat Pack. He wasn't a side act, he was crucial. He sang, danced, did impressions. He was the showstopper every night. But even as he stood center stage, he was never allowed to forget that he was black in America. Imagine it. They'd perform together in Vegas hotels, cracking jokes, drinking, acting like brothers on stage. But when the show ended, Sammy couldn't stay at the hotel. He couldn't swim in the pool. He had to leave through the service entrance. Vegas might have been the playground for the Rat Pack, but for Sammy, it was still the Jim Crow South, just in a tuxedo. Frank Sinatra gets credit here, and it's well-deserved. Frank did use his power to integrate those hotels. He told casino bosses that if Sammy couldn't stay, he wouldn't be staying either. He forced change. That was real. But it doesn't erase the fact that it took Frank's threat to make it happen. Sammy alone wasn't enough. And on stage, that racism didn't disappear. It was a part of the act. They made jokes about Sammy's skin color, his nose, his religion. They called him boy. They did impressions of him with bug eyes and broad accents. And the audience laughed. Because America was comfortable with a black man as the punchline. Sammy played along. He laughed too. Because he had to. Because that was the cost of being let in. But let's not pretend he didn't know. Sammy Davis Jr. was brilliant. He was painfully aware. He wrote about the humiliation, about the double life he lived, being close enough to call them brothers, while knowing that he'd always be the outsider. And then there was politics. They all campaigned for JFK in 1960. Peter Lawford was Kennedy's brother-in-law, and the Rat Pack went all in for Jack. But when Sammy announced that he was marrying Mae Britt, a white Swedish actress, Kennedy's team told him not to come to the inauguration because they didn't want to alienate Southern Democrats with an interracial couple on display. Sammy helped JFK get elected, and they told him to stay home. That's America. That's the cost of black loyalty. And here's the hardest part. Sammy still called them his friends because he did love them. They did break barriers together. Frank did fight for him. Dean did treat him like family. In private. It's not simple, it's not clean, it's complicated. It's real. That's the American story. So when you see those old photos of the Rat Pack, don't just see the suits and laughs. See the truth. See a black man forced to perform in a system that needed his talent but despised his black skin. See the friends who loved him but still made him the joke. See white power bending just enough to let him in, but only on its terms. Because the Rat Pack wasn't just entertainment. It was America in microcosm. Charm, talent, loyalty, hypocrisy, racism, resistance. All wrapped in one act. That's the story they don't want you to remember. But you should. Because if we don't tell it truthfully, we're just a part of the lie.